Oh yes, legends, how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. Let's analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin all together. Make sure to destroy that like button on your way in if you do enjoy the content, guys. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well, guys. We're going to be taking a look at this drop that we had on Bitcoin that was a little bit aggressive, right? We all have this fear of this Greenland thing and tariffs, right? We did get the dump early this morning or late last night, if you wish. What are the scenarios? What do we have? Do we get an epic bounce? Everybody's getting bearish right now, and this just gets an awesome rally to the upside, or do we get more continuation to the downside? We're going to talk about the levels and the possible day trading setups that we do have hidden on the charts, guys. Before we move forward, a quick disclaimer here. This content is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. Information provided is not guaranteed to be accurate or complete. Always conduct your own research before making any financial decision. Let's say hello to the legends. I want to know if you are feeling bullish. Today, the US market is closed, so we didn't do New York Open because, yeah, basically it's a holiday in the US, and decided to do a little bit of a later live stream. Tomorrow we are following schedule, of course, with New York Open. Subscribe. Afternoon, Mark Dutch. Much love to you, my man. Thank you very much for joining today's stream. Let's say hello to the wonderful legends here. Suzanne, I can see you here. Andy, why so late? I was waiting for you. Yeah, today, New York stock market, okay. Markets are closed in the US. Decided to do a little bit later. No New York Open because there's no New York Open today, as it is a holiday in the US. So a little bit later. We're going to be talking about the levels and the plans that I have here for the price of Bitcoin. I have all of the long positions closed, basically, guys, with this movement down. I had a little bit open on an exchange, but they've all been stopped out right now. So not holding any swing long positions, basically, from this range. This was the range that we tried to maximize the movement to the upside, and of course with these movements already getting stopped out with the rest of the positions. So no long positions. Is it interesting to look for a long at the moment? Well, we are getting supported in this zone. Is it sensible to believe that this is corrective? Well, I'll tell you what, it will be looking interesting because this does have the potential of being a three waver. It does have the potential. However, we need to get the price running up, okay, after this major drop that we had early this morning or late last night, if you wish. We need to see the price rallying here to the upside. Then it's going to start to look very interesting to maybe look for more upside. I mean, this is forming some pretty nice bullish market structure for the last few weeks. As long as we maintain a higher low here and we form a three wave, of course, a three wave structure will be very much in play once you get a rally here into above $94,000. That will increase the probabilities that the market structure is still maintaining bullish. The movements down are corrective. However, the bulls need to have a little push to the upside, getting above $94,000. That will be explained throughout the stream, of course, taking into consideration the levels that we have to the upside, to the downside, and look for the situation, right? Mapping the situation of the waves, right? We're taking into consideration Elliott wave theory, even though a lot of people don't like it. I think it gives you that edge on the market, of course, understanding what could happen at the end of the day. You know, very much aware, of course, of either having a contracting diagonal here or forming multiple 1-2s. You know, being aware that the multiple 1-2s have not been invalidated, because you need to get above the previous lower high. So if you got a move down, bounce, move down, bounce, this bounce needs to get above the last lower high to invalidate the multiple 1-2. So we're very much aware of forming a lower high also in this region. You know, can it form a lower high and get the big drop down? And that's what happened throughout early this morning or late last night. So yeah, we're going to break down a bit of the technicals when the probabilities increase for the bulls. Of course, we need a nice little push up from here. It would be nice for this to be the low. However, you know, it's looking not too great for the moment, depending on the information that we get, of course, in the next coming hours. It's just so easy to believe that this is the high, right? That's it, right? Zigzag, wave X, and another zigzag, WXY. That kind of fits in here nice for a double zigzag. That's it, guys. You know, we've had the bounce. It's very choppy. It looks very corrective. Time to nuke down, guys. It's time to push down. That was the high. You know, it does look like it. Depends on the information that we get, of course. I mean, we want to see follow through here with this movement to the downside with high volume that we got. It would be nice to get that shallow pullback, not getting all the way up to the golden pocket, which is literally at 94.2k basically. If we do maintain 382 Fibonacci's at the moment, getting that resistance, 50% would be valid as well, 93.7, okay, in this area to get that rejection for a possible wave 4 and get that wave 5 and maybe continue to the downside or get an epic bounce. Double bottom looks interesting. A double bottom could look interesting here for a long position just to take out the local lower highs. At the moment, it would be a day trade. Do we get more bearish continuation? Let me know in the comment section, guys. We need a breakdown. Now it is time. I got someone in the comment section from the previous video. Can you break down the higher time frame? We need to understand, of course, is it very bearish? Do we get much lower prices in the next coming weeks and months? Or are we ready to moon? We'll be breaking that. I can tell you there is a high probability that this movement down is a 3-wave corrective structure and not a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This wave 4 has extended a lot, and the probabilities are higher that what we are forming in this range is corrective. So we are expecting new all-time highs to happen at some point in the next coming months. That doesn't mean that this is the low. Of course, you could form a zigzag correction and another sharp zigzag down to the 70, 80k, 70, 60k levels. All right, that's very much a possibility. But everything points out that this is likely a corrective structure, which could extend eventually for the next coming months with lower prices. But it's corrective. It looks corrective. And as it is a correction, you would expect new all-time highs to happen in the near future, right? Regardless if that is going to be 2026 or 2027. You know, we'll break down a little bit here of the Elliott wave scenarios here to the downside, okay, legends? We'll be going through the 4-hourly time frame to understand better this structure. Do the bulls still have a chance to get a massive breakout in the next coming weeks? I have to say, they do. They do, as long as they maintain above these higher lows. It's still possible, right? We are here to talk about possibilities and what would be highly likely, the highest probability momentum moves that could happen. And then the lower time frame, 30-minute, 15-minute, looking for the intraday setups. On Friday, last Friday, the stream that we did end up bouncing. We did end up forming that swing failure pattern. We also had a naked point of control in that zone. Be careful. Of course, it says support level. We can get a little relief rally. Anybody that is looking for aggressive long scalps, it is an entry. Be aware of the multiple 1-2s for a breakdown. And it needs to bounce right over here. We've got the little bounce. Then weekend coming, of course. And all of this nonsense with Greenland and tariffs, right? Which opened Monday with a little bit of bearishness, right? So let me just go quickly through the comment section. We'll be checking out Delta, CVD, the liquidity most importantly as well. There's lots of liquidity to the downside, right? Kind of makes sense that we do push down, right, based on the liquidity. However, we are building a little bit of liquidity, right? Shorts are looking at the price action, and it's looking nice for this to be the top, right? That's it, guys. This was the high of the rally that we had since November. It kind of feels obvious. It feels obvious. We go down. That was the high, hitting major resistance, anchored VWAP from all-time high, and also the point of control since 2024, right? November of 2024, we got that high volume node when we get the volume profile. Such a massive resistance, valid already to speculate on swing short positions. Now, I didn't get into the biggest swing short. However, you know, my take on this was, you know, you could go in with a small position, 0.5%, 1% maybe, having a stop loss at 99 or 100K, and then build up to that short position as we get very strong signs of weakness and very corrective bounce, so we can get that momentum down to 80K. So in my case, very small position. In a short, I wanted to build a massive short. However, the one that I got is small, but there will be moments that we can detect that week. Now, this is the move. This is the most important move to the downside that we have to basically understand, do we get continuation down? Because if this has to be the high at $98,000, if you're going to get a powerful move down, before the powerful move down happens, you get one leg down and then the bounce, and then the powerful move happens. So is this the first initial leg down that is going to get that bounce, which is very corrective before the powerful move happens, right? To potentially hit below 85K and maybe even coming down below 80K. We have to see, because the powerful move is not going to happen from this momentum. This is unlikely to happen where we get a fall here in the next coming days. This is not how it usually happens. If you are going to move down to 80K, you get the first sign of weakness and then the bounce, and then the next movement is going to be the strong one. It would unlikely fall from this price action like this in the next coming days. So this is what we are going to talk about, right? Do we have our first initial sign of weakness, leg one to the downside? And what needs to form, of course, throughout the next coming days, so we can detect if that is going to be the case, so we can either get into new short positions or add to new short positions for all of those people that got in below $89,000, $98,000, right? Either 97, 96 because of that anchored VWAP, and also the point of control of the entire range since November, right, of 2024. The highest volume node that we have here on the chart, which was a big barrier, right? We already saw that rejection throughout the last few days of a few $1,000s. Such a technical, strong resistance level here at 98K that the price is feeling it, right? We are rejecting from that anchored VWAP and that point of control. So this is aggressive. You're entering into the rejection of anchored VWAP, point of control. You know, you manage risk accordingly. You know, I would say a valid stop loss would have been 100K to 99K. You know, if price really pushes through after the momentum that we got last week, you want to consider, you know, being cautious, closing position, just managing risk. It is better to jump into a small position, in my opinion, get the sign of weakness, get that confirmed corrective bounce, and obviously add to that position or get into new shorts as well to then get that leg down, right, already. Will this happen or not? Well, this movement to the downside seems unfinished, guys. This is an unfinished move to the downside that we have. It's unfinished. You know, at least we would have to see one more leg to the downside. We need to see the relief rally bounce, analyze that. And of course, when we can confirm an impulse down here and confirm a corrective bounce from here, then eventually we are looking to really take that next leg to the downside, of course, in the next 1 to 2 weeks, right, approximately. We're going to break down, of course, the most important price action, which would be the 30-minute, 15-minute time frame from the highs created below 98K, and we'll move forward with that. Just a quick hello to the legends here. Sorry about that. Just focusing here on the content and the analysis that is going to be talked about today, of course. Getting ready for some scenarios. Andy Pandy in the house. That is correct, my man. Neji, much love to you. Under 3, Yudak, hello. All Star, soy Miki. Miki, ¿qué pasa, amigo? Much love. Miki de Barcelona. Barcelona. Beth Maria Vallejos, much love to you. Suzanne, hello Andy. Hi everyone, much love to you. Supreme, all right legends, let's go. Hi Andy and all. It's gonna be a Sunday dump, Monday pump thingy. BTC looks bearish. Yeah, expect please help. How low can Bitcoin go? We are going to talk about that in today's live stream, okay? Mark Dutch, thank you very much for joining, legend. Beth Maria, here we go. Be careful with this one, Beth. Ten cuidado con este. Es un tiburón. Es un tiburón. Much love to you, Mark. So glad you are here today. Well. We'll leave that in the comment section. We'll go through the next one. Andy Legend, thanks for being here. You're very welcome. Guys, much love. Do you hold any spot BTC, Andy? I would have to say, unfortunately, I do. A lot. I didn't manage to sell most of my Bitcoin. I think nobody did, really. You know, I had a different strategy this cycle. That was, you know, getting out at all-time high when we were at the 100K region. Every pop to the upside, I wanted to sell more. The latest one that I sold was 15% of my spot bags. This was said on the live stream, guys. I'm scaling out of my spot bags here, and you know, depending if we do go higher or not, then we'll scale out as we get the next information. But yeah, I'm still holding 75% of my Bitcoin, and this is Bitcoin that was bought throughout the last few years at much lower prices. The idea throughout the last year in 2025 was to really start scaling out. However, I didn't scale out enough, right? Because why not sell everything here, right? Why not sell all of your Bitcoin at 125K and buy here at a 30% discount, right? That would be easy. Well, it wasn't, right? You were like looking to scale out as we move higher, and then we got a pretty aggressive move down. I mean, we were aware of this potential of sweeping up these lows at 108K. However, I was not expecting drastic continuation later on, and obviously I didn't want to sell here on the momentum down just to analyze the next structure. So anyway, the question on that, do I hold spot Bitcoin? Yes, I do. Just didn't sell enough, right? But this is the same as trying to buy the exact low. I started buying Bitcoin from the previous cycle because I didn't sell all of my the 25. I also sold 25% here of my Bitcoin back in April, May of 2021. Didn't do anything here, didn't buy. And I started buying as soon as we broke down below $30,000. This was a big range of accumulation, many months here of buying like crazy. And I would treat this same. I'm not buying any spot Bitcoin at the moment, but I would consider start DCAing just because I already hold significant spot only under $80,000. You know, this is the region that I would start DCAing back in again if we do manage to break below 80K, which I do believe it's going to happen throughout the next coming months at some point. But if you don't now hold any Bitcoin at all, I think it's already decent. Every time Bitcoin does get a 20-30% pullback, I think it's reasonable to buy some if you don't hold some. Just because I have significant Bitcoin, and I'm a little bit pissed off of not selling a bit more, because a 30% move down, if you hold a lot of Bitcoin, it's a big hit. It is a big hit. So, you know, I don't want to buy anymore at this zone, you know, unless we really break down below 80K, 70K, 60K, that's when I'm going to start buying aggressively again. So I'm you know, not interested in buying at the moment because I'm happy what I have on spot. So yeah, what can I say about that? Like button is activated. Let's see how many likes we do have here, guys, because it's not looking pretty. 72 likes, over 300 people watching. It is a slow day, guys, today. Markets are closed. Slow day today. We need to break down a little bit of the different possibilities here. Okay. most important levels to the downside, most important levels to the upside. What could we expect? Yeah, and just follow through here with the information. Of course, I have to say that a double bottom is a very, very valid long position. Okay, reaction, bullish market structure, and a bounce to hit the lower highs that are formed, if they are formed, of course, in this zone. We'll be explaining a little bit of the setups and the levels that I do have on the chart here, so bear with me here, guys. Just going through the comment section. The first few minutes. Smash it. Let's go. Crypto by Matthias CBN. Go and watch this dude over here, because this guy is short from the 97k zone, like big time. He was like already confident in the short as we were moving up there. Tell them, CBM, absolute legend. Go and check out his content. I was just reading this. Sell BTC, buy Fartcoin. Big father hero. Yes, why not? Andy, the disclaimer has been said at the beginning. Thank you for the reminder, Beth Maria Vallejos. Okay, you got disclaimer in the description as well. Okay, big disclaimer about the content that is given here on the live stream. Do you anticipate every fully cashing out? Do you anticipate every fully cashing out? Not sure if I understand this question. Do you anticipate every fully cashing out? Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I think there's a few words missing in that question. Doesn't make sense. Much love, Mark Dutch. Innocent Mark Dutch. Do not believe that. He is not. Much love, Mark. Thanks for joining. Will it pump more in the next few days? Yeah. Will you anticipate ever fully cashing out? Okay. Do you anticipate ever fully cashing out on all of my Bitcoin holdings? I don't think so. We've been going through this since the beginning of my channel in 2020, which I was already saying, I've been in crypto for the last 2 years. In 2018 is when I started in crypto. Bought my first Bitcoin at $6,000. That was my average price of my first Bitcoin, and that was a lot of money for me back in the day. I was like, oh, I've got a Bitcoin, right? And then obviously when you got a Bitcoin, then you want to have 2 Bitcoin, and I was like, then looking to get into the second Bitcoin. When you get 2 Bitcoin, you want 3. So that was a bit of the story back in 2018 regarding accumulation. And throughout being in 2 cycles, you obviously want to sell at high, basically, right? It's all about trying to cash out as you go to higher levels. But I think I'll never sell all of my Bitcoin, right? Do you anticipate ever, fully selling all of your Bitcoin? And that is a no. No. The plan here was to sell more as we do go up. And I thought, taking out 10%, 20% as we do climb to higher prices, because, the end stages of the bull market, it's the same thing. We know we're coming very likely to the end stages, considering the 4-year cycle theory, right? We're gonna peak out at Q4 of 2025, basically, which we did. We peaked in October, so that was Q4. So we're just looking, maybe do we get one more leg up or not? You want to start really scaling out here, because the initial stages of the bull run is where you want to build up your positions. When you start getting the big movements to the upside, your wave 3s, and then you're ending up in your wave 4s, regardless if this is a 5-4, 4-5, 4-5, right? You want to start thinking of getting out in this region. The big moves already happened in the bull run. So what can I say? Would it be nice to scale a bit more aggressive? At the end of the day, you never know. You never know how high. If you can have extended 5th waves, right? Do you get one more 4 and 5 and you get a very extended 5th wave? But you really want to start scaling out. So Will I sell all of my Bitcoin ever? I don't think so. There's no price target. You always want to hold some Bitcoin, right, for the long term, regardless. Anyway, fun fact: Andy's first YouTube video were in Spanish. Very true, my man. Very, very true. Very true. Help how low BTC can go. I will take a look at that. Okay, my first YouTube video was me about 17 years old, very drunk, doing okay. Nice one, Crypto Cowboys Oz Cowboy Oz. Much love to you. Thanks for joining. You have patron. Andy, did you read the Elliott Wave Principle book? Yes, I did. I actually have it somewhere here. It's a little bit of a mess. I've got all sorts of trading books, but yeah, this one's pretty wrecked. This one right over here, this is where you have all Elliott Wave, but you can see this book has gone through everywhere. It's gone to the beach, it's gone to, it's literally done everything. It's pretty wrecked from a few years ago that I got it. And Day Trading y Operativa Bursátil for Dummies de Francisca Serrano. That's one of the basic ones that is pretty good. Anyway, Andy, saludos desde Colombia. Always a pleasure to be here. Much love, Carlos, to you. Thank you very much for joining. Do you know Bitty? How about alts? We can take a look at some alts. A great sign the book has been used. Yeah, that book, I think it's the most destroyed one that I have, actually. Because, you know, I do take it. That's the one that's traveled the most, if I'm honest. I have playbooks. Mark Dutch, much love. I'm tired of this price action, says Axel. Let's break down a little bit where the probabilities change at the moment. So we got this leg down. Naked point of control at 92k. And let's break down a little bit here. We are getting a bit of support down here. The naked point of control that I've got off the chart already. Don't have it. It's been deleted. But yeah, getting a little bounce here. You would arguably discuss kind of the valley area high as well of this range. That's where you got the most of the volume finishing here. But we need to focus on what is going on with this movement down, right? This movement down for the moment is a three-waver when we zoom out. It's a three-waver. The moment you take out the low again, things change. Things change as soon as you take out the low without taking out the 94.1k level. 94.2k, just to be a little bit more exact and give it, a proper invalidation. If price moves up all the way to this zone, you invalidate a wave 4 literally. Wave 4s could easily say never hit the golden pocket. So if the price does manage to stretch up here, this is the thing, when you get a big move down, this is not the greatest zone to start jumping into shorts. You would rather look for long positions here, even though you've had this aggressive move down. Obviously not in these bounces because this could be correction and you're looking for the movement down. But the big move happened, right? You literally want to be positioned once the big move happened. And depending on the next price action, it's going to be favorable to either look for a long or favorable if you take out the lows and get a corrective bounce. Obviously look for the short position to roll over, okay? It's important to take out the low again to consider this movement as an impulse. And then the bounce, if it is going to be looking very, very crappy and bouncy and overlappy, then we're literally just getting ready, guys. The movement up is weak. Price action doesn't look good. And that's, you know, that's when the bigger move is going to happen, potentially to 88k, 87k. But let's, you know, let's see, right? We're going to break down this. I think the favorable scenario for the bears at the moment, looking at this price action, I do favor more downside at this point, unless what we do see in the next hour. Okay, but what, you know, the most favorite scenario at the moment has to be this one. Okay, which would be a double zigzag, literally just a complex corrective move after some aggressive moves to the downside. This is what fits better on the chart, on the chart as we speak. 3-wave up, complex correction here for your wave X, where you have a flat, you have another complex move in your wave X here from your lower time frame X, and then a triangle in your wave X right there, and your wave Y, sorry, to finish your X wave, and then a 3-wave structure zigzag, right, to finish your Y wave. This is what fits better at the moment, but things can change for the bulls. And the most bullish case scenario, is literally looking at this. And we drew this last week when we had this price action all the way up here. There is still a bullish scenario where you form a higher low, where you form a 3-wave down, and you get the rally on the 3rd wave to overlap, right, this zone, which would be this one. So this was drawn last week, giving the macro bullish case scenario where you have a wave 1 and a leading diagonal. We never prefer that because leading diagonal is not the highest probability motive wave in a wave 1. It's either just a normal impulse, you know, most likely in a 5-wave structure, either with your wave 3 being expanding or your wave 5 being expanding, but a diagonal is rare, okay, in a wave 1. This is why we don't give it the highest probability, okay, at the moment. But you would have 5-wave up, possible wave 1, complex correction here, okay, in your wave 2, and then another wave 1, 2, another wave 1, 2, and this is just building up the momentum to break out in the 3rd wave, right? That does take us to, you know, 100k plus in the next couple of weeks. We do not know if this is going to be a correction. When we do know that the probabilities as drawn here from last week's, you know, price action that we had here, we need to see a 3-wave down, which is what we got. And if we do get the bounce without claiming the low, so shallow moving down, that's what we would want to see here for the bears to take absolute control from the momentum that we've had in the last few weeks. That would be very, very bearish for the next coming weeks, because you would expect some corrective bounce and then continuation to the downside. But hey, we get that bounce above 94.2k, which we're only $1,000 away. This is going to be looking like a correction after the massive rally that we got last week. It won't be looking too bearish. So let's see. Let's see, right? And, you know, the overall thing here about it's bearish. Well, if you have a powerful move, if you are looking, you know, if you want to join here into a short position, this needs to reject at the 382 or the 50% Fibonacci. Your hard invalidation is literally 94.2k for an impulsive move to the downside. So yeah, anybody, you know, the thing about wave 4s, getting into wave 4s and 5s, you're coming to the end stages of the move and you don't know if this is going to be a 3-wave move. If this does bounce all the way up above 94.2k, so you got 1 2 or 1 2, bang, 3 4 5, you actually overlap this zone and then you get a pullback, this is going to be looking extremely interesting to get into a long position, I have to say. Longs are going to be looking very, very interesting here, because you do have a higher probability that this is corrective, and throughout the next 1 to 2 weeks you're literally looking to take out 98k again at some point. So we need that bounce eventually, and if you want to get in on the wave 4, we've been moving up bullishly. I do favor the bearishness. However, a short position, or adding to your existing short positions that you do have from this 97k region, is going to be much better if you form a lower high here and take out the low. Then the bounce is going to be the moment to add very, very aggressively into any shorts that you have on weakness, because the probabilities not only of taking out this low, but breaking down to much lower prices, considering the higher time frame, it's just going to be beautiful, right? There is going to be a point where that's it, guys. It's gonna pop to the downside if this is the first initial wave of weakness, right? However, it's going to take a bit of time. It's going to take a little bit of time. We need to claim the lows. We need to confirm that this is an impulse down, which we do not have. We've only got a 3-wave move to the downside. If we overlap 94.2k, there's going to be a problem for the bears. Won't be looking good. I would be taking aggressive profits from shorts that you have from higher prices, because this is going to start looking corrective. So yeah, I know it's disturbing that, but what about the liquidity, right? What about the liquidity that we have below $89,000, right? We cannot go higher with this liquidity that we have below 89k and 87k. We absolutely can, of course. There's plenty of liquidity above 98k as well. There's hundreds of millions of short liquidations, and they are piling up. We are getting more short interest only, so it is finding a balance right now. So it really depends on the local structure. If we are going to be getting a move up above 94.2k, it's going to be looking interesting for the longs in the next coming days. We want to identify some kind of an impulse from the low here, if possible. So if we do get that pop to the upside, longing from the naked point of control here at 92k is aggressive, I have to say. It's an aggressive catch the movement down, just like as aggressive that the long position that we talked about on Friday. Be aware, guys. We can get into this long position. We had a naked point of control as well with that SFP. Treat it as a day trade. Treat it as a internal bounce. It's do we get the price recovering from here? Maybe. This could have been a double zigzag, maybe, right? It's just the position that you have, right? Entry, stop loss, get a rally, 2-to-1 risk reward, collect some profits, leave some open, then stopped out with this movement down, right? But these they're aggressive, right? You're literally catching on the reaction of the point of control, or the SFP, if you wish, right, from that higher low. They're aggressive longs, just like if you're long in here, like really hoping for that reversal and that 3-wave confirmation. So, in an ideal world, I do treat wave 4s as a little bit aggressive as well. Wave 4s literally top out very commonly at the 382 to the 50% Fibonacci. We've got an aggressive move down with high volume, which you always want to label as your wave 3 in the bearish case scenario, right? If you had this as your wave 1, your wave 2 somewhere here, either here or here. If this is a sideways, which can be fit zigzag up, flat, and another zigzag up, it's possible to combine it doesn't really matter, wave 2 here or here. Literally the Fibonacci levels are very, very similar regardless if that's the lower high or this is the lower high. But your golden pocket is the invalidation. So, you know, do you want to jump into a short at the 382 to the 50% Fibonacci? You know, that's the zone where the bears need to defend, right? To target the low. Are you happy with this trade? Invalidation is the golden pocket, literally, here for the bearish impulse. Look no further. So, do we form that lower high? You're like really looking for that 4-5. If you're feeling bearish, if you're not short from higher, you're like really want to join the momentum to the downside. But it'll literally just be a day trade scalp. 2-to-1 risk reward if you do get in the 382 to the 50% Fibonacci zone. 2-to-1 risk reward. I mean, it's okay. It's you know, it's a setup. The bears don't want the price action to hit the golden pocket without taking out the low. So it is a setup regarding Elliott wave theory as a bearish impulse, and you're really trying to spot that wave 4. However, you know, when you do zoom out, it's not one of those trades that are extremely pretty, right? Because the momentum has been bullish, correction, big momentum up, and this could be a correction as well. This could be just another higher low, and you know, price start rallying. So what would be the best trade setup? Of course, right? If it, you know, the only possibility that I do see here as a short trade at the moment would be on the bounce, right? When you're looking to get into the bounces, to take out the low again is literally that wave 4 speculation that needs to be in this zone without hitting 94.2k. So not the greatest, the wave 4s and 5s, just because on the higher time frame you do have the potential of a zigzag here, a 3-wave structure, but the invalidation is 94.2. If we are going to form a wave 4 here in this region, the best trading setup that I would see, unless you're getting into a higher low here for a long, or maybe some people longed aggressively the reaction at the naked point of control at 92k, which has literally been touched. Yeah, I'll just put it on the chart because there was a naked point of control at 92. Just to have it there. I mean, unless you're aggressively taking that trade, similar to the one here, you're literally catching the reaction of the naked point of control with stop loss beneath the low. Then obviously on these bounces, to get onto the long, you're really asking for it, because if you form a lower high, you know, you're looking to take out the low. I would rather look for the double bottom here and get the bounce above the lower highs created. That is a nice long position for me. I love getting into the 5th wave after reclaiming the pivot low here. That I do like those long positions, trying to get into the 5th wave for the bounce, literally. On the other side, you know, and to get into a better short position is, you know, let's just break down here a little bit of one of the scenarios that let's break down all of the scenarios, right? This does have a possibility, even though it's extremely hard to fit in here, a zigzag move, right? A 3-wave structure. It is very, very hard, but I would say that there is a way of counting here a zigzag move down, which it does not look pretty, I have to say. But then what you're looking for is a double zigzag literally here in this zone. Zigzag up, zigzag down here. For this to be confirmed, you would have to see the price action getting above 94,200 without claiming the low. That's when you can confirm that this is a three-wave structure. If you do get that bounce to get above 94.2k, then there's just no impulsive move developed since the highs created last Wednesday, which automatically you need to think on the probability side that this is likely a corrective move, and what we're looking at is to take out the highs at some point in the next 1 to 2 weeks potentially. But that is not starting to be attractive until we do get above 94.2k, which is the invalidation for your wave 4. In this case, if you're looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you don't want to get above 94.2k. That will invalidate the impulse down. So preferably that lower high is created in this zone at 93.2 to 93.7k area to take out the lows again, right, in the next 24 hours or so. So for any long positions, unless you catched the naked point of control, you know, I cannot get into a long position here in this bounce. There's no way I'm getting into a long here unless you got the long position at the naked point of control. Stop loss, right? Or maybe a higher low here, but you're managing risk. And you know, you're literally expecting a reversal. You know, there's no way I'm getting into a long here. No way. No way. No way. It's not a level to long. Double bottom can be a long position for me. You know, you form a lower high here, boom, 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 bang. Then I can long here, stop loss at the low, just to sweep up the highs, and then leave some open potentially, but not here. There's no way I'm getting into a long here in this very corrective looking bounce, unless it's a multiple 1-2. It's not looking pretty, of course, but what I would need to see to get into a long position for all of those people that did not catch the long at the naked point of control, I would need to wait for confirmation here that this is a three-wave structure. What do I need to do for that? Well, we do have a potential 1-2, 1-2. If we do maintain higher low from here, and manage to move up, say in a bit of an explosive move, right, and get above 94.2k, then obviously I would be eyeing that potential impulsive move, right? This would be your wave 3. You got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Then the correction is where I would be looking to enter that long position. If we get above 94.2k with a strong move, then gets exhausted eventually in that 4-5, then the move down to the 50% golden pocket is going to be looking very, very interesting to get into that long, because, you know, then we would speculate that this is a wave 1, this is a wave 2, and then we're looking for that wave 3 up, right, as a kind of a bear trap situation. But we need that bounce first, right? This needs to be formed first without taking out the recent lows at 92k, 91.9. We need to get some kind of a confirmation that this would be a three-waver, and that's by getting that push up in a kind of an impulse, right? I have to say, you know, I would be flipping bullish, right? Once this would happen, get that strong move above 94.2k, get a bit of choppiness, and then get the movement down. If we get that overlap and the failed momentum to the downside, lots of overlap, three-wave down, you know, the most important thing is three-wave down and overlap this territory, and then any correction here becomes, if you do get it, it becomes your opportunity. So it's literally trying to find for this. this scenario, and this gives you a bit more of a day trade to swing long scenario here when we consider the structure. For the moment, we don't have any of that, and it's better to favor the downside momentum, favor the bearish scenario till you hit invalidation, which is 94.2k at the moment. Remember, that's only if we do not take out the low. If you take out the low here, I mean, you could go all the way up on that three-wave structure, because then you have a impulsive move. So let's break down a little bit of, a few of the scenarios here. You have the diagonal impulsive move to the downside, where you have your wave 1 here in a diagonal. Okay, that would be your wave 1, your wave 2. And then have your 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here to maybe even complete your third wave, and then your 4 and 5. So literally here, what you would have is wave 1, wave 2. Wave 2, you could fit in a sideways WXY here. It doesn't really matter, because regardless if you take out the low one more time or a couple of more times, you're looking at the end of the structure for a larger bounce here. I've been counting this structure in the last couple of hours, and there is a way of counting a sideways WXY. But regardless, for the impulse, regardless if you finish the wave 2 here in a sideways WXY or not, you would need one more low at least, right? One lower high and one more low. So with that said, then the impulse, then the movement up is what becomes interesting to analyze here for the correction. So you could still have, let's put it, just discussing here the scenario. Let's get that out of the way. This could be a longer wave 4 eventually if this ends up in the wave 2. This could be a little bit longer a wave 4. And then the wave 5, let's just change this. Super important that the price stays beneath the $94,200. 382, 50%. You literally need to stay beneath the 94.2k. This would be one scenario that if this is a leading diagonal, what you would be looking at here is wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 and 5. The double bottom here is for me a no-brainer. I love longing the 5th wave in a impulse, taking out the 3rd wave and either looking for a double bottom or looking for local levels of support beneath the low to catch that bounce. Not that I have many levels here. To the down, previous week open, previous month open, point of control, dailies. We've got a weekly level down there somewhere. There's a weekly level. If you don't double bottom, I would be waiting for the weekly level for that bounce in the 5th wave. So for me, the trade setup here would either long a possible double bottom, or either long if you break down that low that we have from early this morning, literally looking for the weekly level, which is previous week open, to look for the reaction bounce, of course. That would be a long setup that I would be looking for, at least to sweep up the lower highs of today, if that is the case. We got the yearly level, which is getting the back test at this moment. Previous week close, yearly level at 93,354. So fifth waves are, you know, they're the ones that I really like to get into at levels out of support. I mean, the latest one that we talked about on stream as a day trade was this one right over here, which was the low. It was a higher low and ended up absolutely shooting to the upside. Is this movement down, right? Who remembers this from the stream from last Monday? This was only a week ago. Seems like it was ages ago, but it's only 1 week now. But this was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? This was the 5-wave move down where we were speculating on either SFP from here, either SFP from here. We did end up SFPing from the first one already. The first higher low that we had on from Sunday. And, you know, we never came back, right, throughout last week. So that was an awesome long position. Whoever entered that, I was already positioned. That's the moment I compounded into the long after this major rally in the correction, compounding the long position, rest of the position till eventually getting stopped out, right, with the recent move down from the rest of the position. So, yeah, I mean, just to give you that explanation, basically, on the 5-wave move, right, boom, 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 we do not know how aggressive the move down could happen, right? Does it just take out the low and then gets the bounce? You could form an ABC flat as well. ABC flat, take out the low, take out the highs, lower highs. Very possible scenario. Shallow wave 5, get a bigger rally later on. Nobody knows. I do know that I'm looking for a wave 5 if we form a lower high here for a bounce, regardless if the bounce happens here on a double bottom. It's a zone to manage risk, basically, right? Or if it's going to be very aggressive, we come down to the weekly level. I mean, if we break down from the recent lows at 92k, I'm literally eyeing $90,800 where we have that weekly level. Beautiful. Weekly levels are great, strong levels. And if we were to move down here, break down beneath this low, we have that wave 3, wave 4, 5. I mean, that's the moment, if you can detect that impulse on the 5-15 minute time frame, that it's getting into the 5th wave of the 5th wave, right? So you have 5 waves down, and in the 5th wave, you want to get into the 5th wave. So, you know, obviously longing in this zone, you're literally, with high probability, looking to sweep up the lower highs of the 4th wave, which is very, very common. So this would be a little bit of what I'm looking at here. If you were to break down the lows of today, if it is aggressive, no reaction, it starts building up multiple 1-2s and then it breaks down with high volume, the level where I'm looking for a bounce to sweep up the lower highs would be the weekly level. Reaction. Take it out, get back above it, stop loss. This would be the setup. So it's all really trying to get into that 5th wave bounce for the bigger move eventually that could develop in the next coming, I would say 1 to 2 weeks. If we get a confirmation that there is an impulsive move forming here from the highs created last Wednesday, it's gonna be looking pretty damn bearish if we take out the lows without taking out 94.2k. If we don't, guys, it's gonna be looking more bullish. We bounce now to hit 94.2k plus. I'm going to be interested in longing again, guys, because there's nothing more I mean, there's people getting very bearish right now because of all of this Greenland and tariff situation. The chart will tell us the story in the next coming, 1 to 2 days. If we do get higher probability continuation down, or higher probability, this could be a stacked multiple 1-2s, and this ends up being more bullish than everybody thinks. we'll see. It's going to be interesting to try and detect this movement down as a correction. We get above 94.2k, that's already going to be a green light. That's already going to be a green light for the bulls, because this is the thing with multiple 1-2s. You get the 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, or regardless if you start here, because this had a possibility of being a triangle in a complex WXY, where you had a zigzag down, a flat, and a triangle formation here. And then 1-2 start from here or from down here. It doesn't really matter, but you're literally just grinding up to the upside till you pop out. So if you get, you know, a kind of a confirmed 3-wave move, I mean, this is what happens, right? You get the movement down, you get the bounce. This move needs to nuke. If this move does not nuke down, and you get that massive bounce taking out the lower high, you know, probabilities are high to get a corrective structure. This 3-wave move down, the bounce, I mean, that was already corrective by its own right there. So you kind of get the point here. So as we do have a 3-wave move down at the moment, when we are getting bullish market structure, this 3rd wave needs to get continuation for an impulse to then correct up and then, you know, roll over. But if this 3-wave move overlaps, it's just going to be a correction, and probably it's just nesting multiple 1-2s, as Devil says. So it is super important right now that the bears maintain below 94.2k and claims the recent lows, because if you do get a bounce here in the next coming hours, you know, I would potentially say that there's something more bullish here that we thought. And it kind of doesn't look realistic, right? 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. Come on, we're in a bear market, dude. You know, there ain't gonna be, you know, wave 3 or breakout here. We get above 94.2k without claiming the low, we'll start talking about it, right? We'll start talking about the bullish, macro bullish scenario. But for the moment, you know, for the moment, it is looking bearish. But a lower high is needed here. We're just sweeping up the recent lower highs. Let's take a look at today's levels, because we do have the daily open, which is at 93.6. Today we opened in the middle of the crash. Okay, Monday. We actually opened in the middle. Monday open is at 93.6k, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check that. Daily open could be a rejection point, which is at the 50% Fibonacci. Almost, yeah. If it does push there, it could be an interesting rejection point for the bears, because the bears don't have much room to the upside. Let me know, guys, if you're feeling bearish or bullish. V-shaped recovery. Super important for the bears to maintain a lower high in this territory, literally. But yeah, it's going to be looking interesting. The bigger move to the downside here, shout out to you legends, here with Popcorn. Much love, Machu Picchu to you. Let's see how many likes we do have. Meme Cat, you fools. Super cycle loading. Is the super cycle in the room with us now? Next relief rally will be when all will lose hope, probably lower 70k. Yeah, it's going to be looking interesting. We love Orange Swan events. Much love, Mark Dutch. My problem with the wave 3 is the bad extension like not even a 1-to-1 with wave 1. Well, it really depends, unless you have, I mean, yeah, we didn't talk about the other scenario, of course, which would eventually be multiple 1-2s, right? You literally, this has not been invalidated. Multiple 1-2s, regardless if you have 3 or 4, because you can fit in a flat here. You can fit one more 1-2 here, even though this can be a sideways corrective structure, even though it would be too long from the latest 1-2. It doesn't really matter, but you have lower highs here. Lower highs. This still would be possible. Of course, you need a lower high in this region at the 382 50% Fibonacci from this pivot to literally form another wave 4 and 5. This would be here, sorry. Don't know why that was down there. But yeah, this would still be possible naturally. I know you said about this wave 3 not even crossing if we consider this. Yeah, well, that's the thing. This would be a wave 3 that is actually smaller than your wave 1. So that means wave 5 needs to be smaller. That's if we consider this a contracting diagonal. Your wave 2, or wave 2 here, or wave 3 not finished. You need a lower high and one more low, and then all of this is your wave 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all of this is your wave 3. Well, yeah, that is a good point right there. If we consider the diagonal, either wave 3 not being finished, if it were to be finished, it's not even hitting the 1-to-1 extension from your wave 1. So that is eventually disturbing. It looks big, but this is the same length as this. However, because it's so aggressive, it looks much more powerful. So that is a very, very good point right there, which obviously is not great for this scenario. Wave 3 is not even longer than your wave 1 at the moment. And that's okay, as long as your wave 5 is smaller. You can have wave 3s smaller than your wave 1. That is okay, but your wave 5 needs to be smaller, of course. So, but it is disturbing, as wave 3s are the most powerful movements on average, right? They're usually the most powerful ones, which brings you the scenario of multiple 1-2s. This scenario was never invalidated. You're still forming lower highs here as you're moving down. So, you know, naturally, if we have multiple 1-2s, you get the biggest move to the downside, which happened in the last 24 hours. This bounce cannot hit the golden pocket, period, right? Anybody that wants to look for a short, just, you know, you're hard either at 382 or 50%. You're you know, the invalidation is the golden pocket. You know, look no further. And you're taking out the lows, because double bottoms are, you know, are likely going to happen here, regardless if it's 1 or 2 or multiple ones. But yeah, the invalidation is the 94.2K. If you're looking for a lower high to be formed here between the 382 50%, where you want to, you know, consider the wave 4s. Anybody that who wants to join that, it's a 2-to-1 risk to reward. We got a strong move down. We are bouncing. You know, it's always nice to get into the bounces, right? If you're considering a short, you know, you don't want to short if you roll down already. You don't want to get bearish here, because, you know, you're going to get a bounce. It's going to bounce. So you want to try and get into the lower high, and, you know, the invalidation is golden pocket. No more to it. 94.2K basically. This scenario is possible throughout the next coming days. Yes, you know, you double bottom here, but the bounce is very poor and very corrective, and you just take out the low again, you take out the low again, you take out the low again, and you literally form something like this, but to the downside here. So if that is the case, it will be looking extremely interesting to look for a long position. If you do take out the low once, you bounce, and you take it again and you bounce, it's going to be looking great for a long position, at least to take out this lower high. Look for the double, triple bottoms. But we need at least 2 bottoms hit. You need at least 2 4-5s on the formation. You know, it's just because this is a lot of noise right there. You could fit in here 3 1-2s or 5 1-2s. You can form a flat here. You can form an more of an extension wave 2 here, even though it would be very, very long compared to your wave 1. But yeah, the question is right now, how many 1-2s do you have here? Because you can fit a flat here. So do you have 3? Do you have 4? I mean, this is why you would at least want to see 2 more 4-5s, and then it's becoming interesting to position yourself on the first impulse corrective structure, or either take out the low again, impulse corrective structure, and that's the one that bounces, right? You just don't know exactly which one's going to move a bit impulsively and correct, but this would be the moment to start looking for longs at support, change bullish market structure with some bullish CVDs, and look for the rally. But you need a couple of 4-5s if this is going to be the proper count here. And you know, as mentioned, what if the price, you know, starts moving up from here? I mean, I have to say, this is you would favor the bears at the moment. You would favor them, and you would favor the possible impulse or the multiple 1-2s just to continue down here in 4-5s. But you know, if you ask me for a new long position, I have to say, if I did not catch a long, because I did aggressively enter that long position here as a day trade, got stopped out here with the movement early this morning. This was a long, risky long, just managed risk, stop losses beneath the low, beneath the wick, after getting the reaction at the point of control and that higher low. And you take it as a day trade, take some profits, you protect position. Who knows, right? It might be the low. Naturally, we came down with all of the FUD that we've had throughout the weekend with the Greenland tariffs and rest of it, what so not. And you know, if I'm thinking about a new long position at this moment, if I'm not in already, which I am not, in a long position from the naked point of control, I need to see that 94.2k being hit and finish an impulse, get the pop, boom boom boom, right, and then the correction down. And you know, if we get this kind of price action throughout today and tomorrow, I'm going to be looking for longs. You know, I'm sorry, but if we get this information, I will be looking for long positions to take out 98k. So it's really all about V-shaping a little bit the move down that we got, which would be a bullish. It would be a bullish move for the next coming weeks, and would be happy to join a long position later on once that information is given. So yeah, we will be looking to take out the highs again, believe it or not. But this would be a setup that I would be happy to get into if we do not take out the lows and move up in an impulsive move here above 94.2k, and you know, form choppy price action after that movement has happened. You know, I would be looking for that long swing trade. This would take a few days to develop eventually. But this would be a little bit of what I would be looking for to get into a long. Basically to hit 98k. I need to see a bit of confirmation. I need to confirm that this is a 3 wave, which I do not have at the moment. So we get that bounce, then I'm going to start believing that this is a 3-wave move down. So I'm going to start believing that the price is, you know, going to get an epic rally to back above 98K. I'll just have to go with the information that is given. So, yeah, what else do we have regarding setups here? If this is the one that's going to play out, where this has been the impulse, and this is multiple 1-2s, and then we just hit the low, bounce, hit the low, bounce, and, you know, hit the low again and bounce. The short trade is going to take a few days. The big swing short trade, you know, I would be looking for that corrective move here. That could be a WXY or whatever, but we at least want to detect that 3-wave structure where the 3rd wave fails and overlaps into this zone. That's the moment we're going to have to be looking. I will have to be looking for aggressive swing shorts, because that would be the ultimate confirmation that we're likely going to move down to hit $80,000. You know, the next big powerful move down, the 3rd wave, right? We're looking for the 3rd wave. And what we don't have right now is the first impulse down, unfortunately, because we just moved down in a 3-waver. So we need to take out that recent low that has been formed to be confident that this is a bearish move down, just to get follow through in the next coming days. We don't take out that low and we get above 94.2K, guys, I'm going to say it's not looking great for the bears. Based on the probability side and the structure. So we're gonna have to see what happens. But anyway, that's for the big short kind of confirmation. To like be confident in a new short or add to your existing shorts, we need to finish an impulse here, which we haven't. We need to finish an impulse, then the bounce is going to be looking epic, and ultimately that would be confirming, you know, almost confirming it for me that this has been a double zigzag WXY. Finish the impulse here, form at least one more low, and then the bounce, if corrective, it's going to be, that's it, guys. You know, we're really looking for very, very likely 80K in the next coming weeks. Once we have a confirmed impulse down, the bounce is going to be looking extremely important. Then you know, you got the top catches here at the anchored VWAP or the point of control. That's all good and nice, I have to say. You know, it's valid to look for a swing short here. Just manage risk. But the big short for me, the big short really comes after this, forming a proper impulse down, which we haven't got yet, and then corrective move, and then, you know, this is where I would go heavy to target $80,000. You know, this would be the confirmation basically of a wave 1, wave 2 that I want to be looking for. So the thing about catching the highs here, you know, it is, for me, it's natural when I catch a low or catch a high that I don't go in too heavy on the trade, right? We're looking for high probability reversal on the higher time frames here, regardless if we take out the highs again or not, right? The probabilities of getting a pullback here is very, very high when we zoom out, when we consider the pump from last week. Do we take out the high again or not? You know, doesn't matter. You know, if you're looking for swing shorts, you know, enter with 0.5%, 1%, stop at 100K. Let's see if we take out the highs and double top, then you can add to the position on that double top. But we are looking for a pullback naturally with the price action and waves that we had from last week. Regardless, you know, if you form a higher low and take out the highs again. This reminded me very, very much, this rally that we had last week, to this one right over here. this one, where you do have an impulse, right? It is a 5-wave move to the upside, and you get the biggest move in the middle, right? Just a natural impulse. You got the first move, slight sideways momentum, big move, and sideways momentum with your 4-5 here. Do we take out the high again or not? And then get the pullback? Well, do we wick one more time to the upside on the lower time frames and then move down, or do we move down here already? That was the overall scenario last week. Is the high taken again or not? And then we move down, or we move down already because the biggest move already happened here. Do we combine this with a wave, with the wave 3, right? Because we had high volume here, but it could already be counted as a 5-wave move right there. So that's the thing, when you just looking to catch the high in the 5th wave, and you probably have a correction and one more high, entering with at least for me, I'm talking about myself here regarding, I understand I didn't catch the Pico top. I'm entering here with not the best entry, but I want to enter small. If we get the impulse down and we bounce, I'm adding to that short position very, very aggressively. If we manage to get a finished impulse, which we don't have yet, right? We don't have it yet. So anyway, let's go through the comment section. It ended up round tripping. Much love to everybody here. Let's do a round trip here on how many likes we do have. Let me just refresh this. I need to do a like recount, guys. Almost 400 people watching. Only 145 likes. Let me just go around the table, have a drink of water. Salud. And we'll go through the comment section, okay? Vamos, 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 vamos. Vamos. Okay, guys. Let me just say hello to the legends here in the community. XRP pumping, man. You must be joking. I got Joy asking me last week, putting me pressure. Damn, that was a pretty aggressive wick down here on XRP. I hope Joy, I'm not sure if he is watching, did manage to exit his long position here. He was anyway, I'm not sure if he is in the comment section, but never mind. He did actually send me a DM. These DMs on altcoins, I'm like, holy smokes. He was in a long position at $2.15 or $2.18, I can't remember where exactly, in a long position here somewhere from a few weeks ago. And he was asking me, do we get a bounce or not so I can exit at break even? I'm like, well, it does look like that we're slowing down here, and the biggest move happened in this zone. We could get a bounce sweeping up if this is a 4th wave. So I said, hopefully we do get that bounce, because we were chopping in this range. We got the bounce. I hope he did exit, because if he didn't, then I'm not sure if he got stopped out. Anyway, Joy, are you here in the comment section? Anyway, XRP is getting a little bit of a nice big bounce, I have to say. Nice big bounce after this flash crash that we've got early this morning. We ain't here to talk about XRP. We're here to talk about the big boy, Bitcoin, baby. But yeah, pretty decent bounce on XRP. Let's go through the comment section. $200 US tether in the end. The worst was that soon as I closed my trade, price started to drop like crazy. So zag about that trade management. The thing is, when we still bullish, I think we are going to 100K in 2 weeks, says Raki. Thank you for the information, Andy. Much love to you, bro. Much love to you, my man. Raki, much love. Nitro. Doesn't bug me. This strategy keeps me making money, not losing. That's what matters. And it goes to 80k like it's showing here, even better. Nitro looking a bit bearish. On the higher time frame, I mean, we are favoring right now. Just arrived, like it already. Much love, my man. Thank you very much, Donald. The market is oversold. Zoom out. It's running flat for further upside. Wait. We got some people that are bearish calling for 80k. I need to do a poll here. Let's do a poll and get your votes. Get your votes in, guys. Get your votes in. Let me just take a look at Bitcoin here on. It's a running flat. Zoom out. Hang on a minute. A running flat. I'm not sure if you're talking about this move and then an ABC running flat here. I don't know when you say zoom out. Is it the daily, the 4 hourly? Anyway, let me create this poll 1 second because we need to keep it fair. Let's just say we get to 98k, currently at 93, and 87 would be, yeah, let's say 87. We're in the middle kind of things. I'm going to do a poll to see what comes next for Bitcoin. Plus 98k or minus 87k. We're kind of in the middle here just to see the sentiment here with how many people are bullish or bearish. It's important, guys, because it's pretty insane when we do the polls. When we get momentum down, I remember a lot of people were favoring 87k here. In this range when we were getting this pump, or naturally later on we were, people were favoring plus 95k. But let's get that poll rolling here. What comes first for Bitcoin, guys? Let me know. Plus 98k, we break the highs, we test the highs. Minus 87k. We're literally in the middle at the moment. Kind of. Let me know. Get those votes in, guys. It would be interesting to know your opinion, right? So we are here. What comes first for Bitcoin? This zone or this zone? Let me know. The bulls are going to favor the local bullish market structure since November. The bears are going to obviously say, this was the high. That's it. We've been here a couple of months with this staircase to the upside, big move down. Forget about it. It's time to start getting some volatile moves to the downside, which naturally it's going to still take a bit of time. It's going to take a bit of time because we need a proper impulse here, which we don't have. So we need at least one more low to consider the impulse, and then the corrective staircase to the upside. And that's when we're looking for the big move down, right? Naturally. The big move down ain't going to happen tonight or tomorrow. It's not going to happen. So because we don't have a solid impulse down, we need to test the lows, get a bounce, choppiness, a bit of confusion, right? That will happen later if it does need to happen, which would be by next week, potentially, maybe 2 weeks. But we still have a lack of information. If you're expecting 80k, it's not the moment to drop down to 80k. We've got a decent move to the downside with some volume. We don't have a 5-wave impulse. So that ain't gonna happen anytime soon. Till we get the impulse done, which could happen. We could form a lower high here in this region, test the lows, then it's going to start be looking good, guys. The bounce has to be studied very, very well, because then we need to join into the swing short. Doesn't matter catching the high, doesn't matter. There will be time. There will be time if the price, if it's going to go to 80k, to jump in. Potentially next week or by the end of the week, or depending on what happens here. And then we can favor with high probability the higher time frame scenarios. The bears are going to favor, obviously, That's it. Double zigzag. You know, this is a corrective overlappy structure. Zigzag up, complex correction, zigzag up, WXY. That's it. It's a three-wave move. It's a three-wave move. We need the impulse down to be confident that we're coming down. I mean, this is gonna be the moment to get into that big swing short. So the thing about catching the high is the problem here, right? You catching the high, I mean, which was a solid level. I cannot deny that. I could not deny that. Sometimes Elliott wave theory, it is true. It can either solve better entries and give you a very, very high probability movement and be confident in the trade. But sometimes if you have too many scenarios, you're going to be waiting and waiting, and you know, you're going to lose the chance in getting into the first rejection in this case, which was, man, when you use confluence, this was hitting the biggest point of control of the last 2 years, right? This is a massive wall. You think the price, regardless if you test the highs again or not, this ain't gonna go through this level easily. It's going to reject at some point, regardless if you form another high for a double top or not, right? Which I do understand. The traders, the people that just use confluence, get in the damn short already. This is massive resistance. It's the anchored VWAP and the massive point of control, looking at over 13 months of price action. Then you go to the lower time frames, and if you want to be an Elliott wave specialist, you might take out the highs again. You're like, screw that nonsense. This is big resistance. It's overbought. You got the big move. It's time to roll over, right? We talked about in the channel, look, if you want to try and short this 97K region, I favor going in with small capital, give a bit of room for stop loss, be it 100K or so, and, give it a bit of a breather here and go in small if you want to be a top catcher. That's all good. That's all fine. It's big resistance. It's valid already to consider the swing short entry. And then we'll add to the short as we go down, obviously in the next coming days, couple of weeks, with a bit of more weakness. So yeah, I mean, this obviously was just a big confluence area when we take into consideration the resistance at 98K. It's just a lot. It was just a lot. So guys, I'm sorry, but let me just take a look at the poll, because I need to go through and this, not if Trump has anything to say about it. There is a lot of liquidity above 98K. Yeah, there's people shorting here. This dump, I have to say. People actually shorting the dump down and shorts piling up. We've got 19 on the bounce. 19 million shorts here on Bybit. You're pretty aggressive short entries here at this 93, 92K region. So shorts are piling up late, which eventually is creating that new liquidity to the upside. We've got some new liquidity heading to 94, 95. So let's see how the price reacts in the next 1 to 2 days. Well, by tomorrow, we'll have a lot of information for the highest probability scenarios. But yeah, let's just go quickly through the votes here. Holy smokes, there's actually more people bullish. That is interesting. That is very, very, I thought there was going to be more people bearish. Right, for what comes first here for Bitcoin. 98K plus, 54%, over 100 votes. Guys, get your votes in, because this is interesting. It's a bit of a 50-50. But there's a slightly more people favoring the bullish momentum. 98K comes first, then 87K. Muy bien, muy bien. Interesting. What are your thoughts on money flow and market cipher? It's interesting. Let's leave it as it is interesting. It is interesting. I see it like very similar to kind of MACD and RSI kind of thing. But yeah, it is interesting. I don't use it, but I have to say that there has to be something valid about it. Lots of people do use Market Cipher. Time to long, bears had their chance. There will be a much better confirmation on the long position, in my opinion. 87k comes first before 98k. High conviction. Naive Agua. Yes, I also feel like from psychological perspective, we need a bit more upside to actually get the people really bullish. I also didn't get really bullish during the last move up. I didn't FOMO, says Chichan. Bear rises before he attacks. 98k. Interesting. What do I think about Bookmap? I mean, it depends on what time frame. There's usually always liquidity up and down, so Bookmap can give you a very big headache. Sometimes you will naturally have much more liquidity, higher than lower. It's just something interesting to take into consideration, but yeah, I mean, I like to take a look at where most of the liquidity sits, and I have to say there's lots of liquidity, okay, below 89k, 87k, but still plenty above 98k, so this is the thing. Anyway, before I move forward with some other scenarios and going through the comment section as well, I cannot believe this insane campaign that BTCC is going with. This is absolute insanity, guys. You know, throughout my over 5 years right now doing YouTube and, you know, using different exchanges and working, of course, in partnership with other exchanges, BTCC is a good platform, okay? It is a good platform. I do trade there also on BTCC. And they're running this campaign right now, which is on their new pro platform, you get 30% deposit bonus. Unlimited. Unlimited means, you know, there's no cap. You deposit 100k, you know, they giving you 30k on top of that on your account. You deposit $1 million, you're getting 300k on top of that. I mean, and this obviously covers your fees and losses. The bonus, that's why the bonus is there. It increases your capital and it's used for your fees and losses. So, I mean, obviously you need to go through the terms and conditions, but I mean, this is pretty insane. You know, I've never seen a bonus like this ever before on exchanges. So, I mean, take advantage. I'm not sure how long this is going to go through with. 30% unlimited. You know, this is pretty crazy. So the people that have, you know, big amounts to deposit, basically, then they're going to get a big bonus on top of their trading capital. Anybody that wants to take advantage on that, guys, you have BTCC link down below here. It's the fourth link. Unlimited 30%. We have to talk about it because I've never seen something even come close to that, which is pretty insane. So anybody that wants to take advantage with BTCC to claim that 30% deposit bonus, it is a deposit bonus, so you are getting that. You might have to have your funds 3 days on futures to get that deposit, okay? And it's not withdrawable, of course. It just gets on top of your trading funds. Anyway, take advantage of this, guys, because this is kind of unreal to get this insane bonus, unlimited, right? Because it usually caps at $5,000 or $10,000, but this unlimited 30% is from another world. What can I say? We need to talk about it because eventually a lot of people would be happy with that deposit bonus. Anyway, let's go through. So I took a very small short position just because it was valid. I would have preferred a local double top, But getting into a short here, understanding the amount of resistance that we had, it's always nice to get in at the perfect entry. This is a problem that you do get as you do advance in your trading career, that you get too selective with your trades. And I've had that problem where I've been over 2 weeks without getting into a trade because I'm waiting for the perfect trade, and the perfect trade doesn't happen very often. Of course, the good skill about that is that you don't lose much capital. You don't lose much capital because you're just very good with your trading decisions. However, you miss a lot of potential trades just by pulling the trigger, basically. And I have to say that it was valid last week to start thinking about swing short positions at this insane wall of resistance. I was favoring the scenario of, it's sensible to get into a 0.5%, stop loss being about 100 to 99k zone, just in case the price doesn't manage to hit the highs again, to consider triggering that short. Small capital. We'll see how it goes in the next coming days. If we get an impulse down and we get a very corrective bounce, I could add an extra 2 to 2.5% to that trade to make it a big one, as a swing trade for the next 1 to 2 weeks, right? With the possibility of really breaking down here to claim down 80k. We haven't got that information yet. We could be getting that information in the next coming days where we do have a confirmed impulse. I would be happy to compound to this original trade, but get into a bigger trade as well. Swing trade short, that is, with the potential of coming down to $80,000. So yeah, you could have entered here already with a smaller position. This is how I read the market. Anybody that got in here with a big position, say 3% of your existing capital, then would be very happy. It's like, luckily I didn't, listen to you, because I entered with more capital here. But everybody has their own trading style. So, as explained, I missed out in going big short here because I was sensible and I was just defensive and saying we might hit the highs again, and obviously if we do and get rejected, that would be a bigger short position that I would want to enter, and then I would be happy, very very happy with a bigger short. And that was not the case. Short for me is very very small, because as explained last week, 0.5%, okay, stop loss, give it a bit of room. I'll add on the sign of weakness. We do have the initial stages of potentially having the sign of weakness. This could be a three-way, but we move above 94.2k, then I'm going to say I'm happy I entered small here, and whoever entered big and didn't start collecting profits is going to be pissed off. So what I want to see for this short position to make it big, look no further, is what we've explained throughout the stream. We need to claim those lows before hitting 94.2k to potentially have a reading of a 5-wave impulse, and then obviously throughout the next coming days, overlapping structure, and then I'm going to add like aggressive into this short with 2.5% stop loss, right? If we take out the highs, I'm going to calculate that this is going to be a 2.5 loss, potentially to make 7, 8, maybe 10% of the capital, trading capital, in the next coming weeks, targeting 80k. That's going to be the idea. We'll be reading the scenarios in the next coming couple of weeks, if that is the case, because it might just break down in a third wave here, and then you get a massive bounce, and then we'll have to read something else here where you might have a 3-wave up, a 3-wave down, and then a 5-wave up, and this turns out to be a flat in the WXY, which is very much, it's a possibility, right? Very confusing, but yeah, you could form the Y finishes here later on, and this turns out into a flat. We're going to have to read the situation in the next 1 to 2 weeks. But this has the potential of being the high. We're going to have to see. We need the impulse down. So, I mean, this is why I want to be very, very selective. It's a good thing because, I lose very small amounts. However, I lose getting into a lot of trades going in big, right? I did not enter with 3%. I was not confident in going in big here yet, even though it was already looking good for that reversal. Take out the highs again or not, right? I wanted the highs to be taken again. It didn't happen, but at least I'm positioned. Then, throughout the next 1 to 2 days, we will see if it is going to be interesting to actually add to that position if we do get corrective bounce. Because we're looking for the big move down, the wave 3, which we before that big wave happens, you need a wave 1 and a wave 2. Before a big move happens, you need your first move down and the bounce. You don't move down in a straight line for the big move. You always get the first leg and then the bounce, then the third leg down. So if this is going to be the high, this is your first leg down formation, which hasn't finished yet. Not even the first leg down has finished yet on the higher time frame. And the bounce is going to happen regardless of where it is. So there's time still for a big short, even though you might be in an epic big short here already at 97k, which is valid. I have to say it's valid. Everybody trades how they can. Everybody's different. But what does happen when you catch highs and lows, you can get smelly fingers. Smelly fingers. Right? Anyway. Okay, primary 5-wave impulse down. Safety first, I get that. Very true. Mark Dutch, much love to you. We got a Fartcoin fan here. Show the terms and conditions. Is that for BTCC? Secret community rewards, extra bonus of up to VIP users. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, as you do sign up, deposit and trade pro and Trader Pro and get 30% as trading funds. After minimum first deposit completed. Well, it says it's valid for 30 days. View more. As you click on the link, guys, you can view more and check out the terms and conditions. But I've been told by the team that it is unlimited, as it says. Okay, 30% unlimited on the deposit. So, but you have the view more, of course. You can click on the link, guys. It's down below, and obviously go through all of that with the fourth link down below. But yeah, it's a very, 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 very interesting bonus for sure. Dump. Are we dumping? Are we rolling over? Bears want to defend the 382 Fibonacci and the 50% at max locally here. Risk to reward is not that great, 382 50%, but their invalidation is literally golden pocket. Not even a 2-to-1 risk to reward at this in this scenario. Trading wave 4s and 5s are the greatest, I have to say. Getting into the 5s, detecting the 5th wave for the bounce is much more interesting for me. But yeah, that would be kind of the only visible setup that we would have at the moment on the stream, is speculating on the 382 or 50% zone for an entry, and stop loss has to be your golden pocket, and you're literally speculating on a wave 4 formation to take out the lows. It's not the greatest trade, but what can we say? It's just the only valid one that I would see here. Unfortunately, not interesting for a long up here unless you catch that naked point of control at 92k. I've explained this throughout the stream. If we do not take out the lows and this somehow continues forming a higher low from the first one, you could form a flat here, that's okay, and get a push up. It's this higher low that's important, and you get that push through regardless with another low or not in an impulsive way with a big move in the middle, right? It's a little bit of wishful thinking at the moment, but I would say that this is a bullish move. There's no flat that you can put in here. This cannot be an A, B, C. B wave, no, too large, too strong to be a B wave. So this would have to be a 3-wave structure. And if you get an impulse up and we start, forming a corrective move in the coming days, I'll have to go into a long position. Again, I'm in no long positions at the moment. All of them got stopped out with this, especially this recent move down. The long positions that we were talking about last week, which my ones were mainly these two. Then, yeah, we didn't talk about longs here. I was actually talking about a short, exited the short here on this move with high volume. So these were the only trades that I remember from the streams of last week. Long here, 5th wave, long an SFP here. Talked about the short, exited the short. And yeah, throughout this zone, you want to short somewhere in this area with 0.5%, right? Stop loss. Do we take out the highs again or not before the rollover? That was the thing, but higher time frame was looking for this to really end up soon, especially with this overlap. Once you overlap that pivot, you realize that you're in 4-5 territory. So it's either take out the highs again or roll over from here, right? So, obviously the higher time frame was looking for the pullback, which we got. So the only trade here as a swing was, enter with a small position. We might take out the highs again or not. That was what we were covering throughout last week as well, when we were coming to reach 98k. But throughout, the little long scalp from Friday, which was looking aggressive. We want to be aware with Fridays. We were hitting a crucial level here. There was a naked point of control in that higher low. We like these SFPs. They do play out a lot of the times. It did get the bounce. You don't want to enter long here eventually. You want to long the reaction at the low, stop loss here, manage risk. Not a great risk to reward, but it's one of those trades that you take 50% and you leave open because it might be the low. The same as last week. These two long positions, I mean, I don't know, they could be the low, but these are day trades, right? They're little bouncers to get into as a position yourself. If we get this being the higher low and getting more momentum, I mean, this is where I maximized profit from last week. I took profit on the day trade and I had to compound and do the long and ride the momentum to the upside to maximize the push up, because I don't have any long entries here because you're kind of jumping in, FOMOing in the long. So the only two major longs were here and here, which were not predicting the low and get a rally. It could happen. This is why we leave, you know, a significant chunk open, 30%, 40%. Try and compound in safely to ride the momentum. But yeah, anyway, the next scenarios here would be looking at this literally. We managed to push up here, form a higher low, and then that 4-5 above 94.2k. I will consider this being a correction, guys, and it could be looking interesting to look for the correction later on here to jump into longs. You know, this would be more of a swing as well. It doesn't really matter where you long here. You're looking for a 2-3 to 1 risk reward that could take a few days, but naturally you need to get above 94.2k in a kind of an impulsive move. You need to detect that 5-wave move to the upside and then move down to the 50% golden pocket. It could be interesting if we get some overlap. Could be room here to jump in somewhere. We'll have to see. We'll have to see, of course. And to add to the short or get into new existing shorts, when we consider this is no zone to enter a swing short, because this would be a day trade short to take out the lows, because naturally we would be looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or multiple 1, 2s, your 3 and multiple 4, 5s here. If you're looking for a swing short here, you know, we're likely going to get that bounce to get above this lower high throughout the week. Regardless if it's one more 4 and 5 or if it's a couple of 4, 5s, it depends on how you read this. This could be a leading diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you bounce, or it could be multiple 1, 2s and you have the third wave and multiple 4, 5s. You know, that bounce, regardless if it's one more 4 and 5 or multiple 4 and 5s, you're likely going to get a relief to get above the highs that we're forming now. So this is no swing short territory at the moment. So depending on the 4, 5s here, then the bounce is if it's overlapping, then that's the moment, right, that I'm really looking for that swing short. Add to the existing short and get into new shorts, but we need at least one more low and then the bounce. If we get this staircase to the upside after forming at least one more low, an overlapping structure, it's going to be time for me to go aggressive. I didn't go aggressive here, so it's time to go aggressive here. But we need that info first, guys, which we'll be following up. We will be following up, because I don't mind going very much in favor of a bullish scenario or a bearish scenario if I got the information. You know, if there's some information, I'll say, guys, there's high probability that we're going to get a leg down here to very, very likely the 87k zone. Because if we have an impulse here and then a corrective bounce, at a bare minimum, I would be looking for 87k. Because it might not follow through and it might get an epic bounce in a 5-wave structure here where you form that ABC flat. ABC flat. So instead of having this finished as a WXY, you literally have this scenario right over here where you have your wave W, zigzag, X, complex, and 3-wave up, 3-wave down, 5-wave up. Just a sweep of liquidity. And then a massive rally, right, entering into February. But anyway, at least it's still a decent move down. And naturally, taking out 87k is going to be the main TP1 of this swing trade. If we get that bounce, you know, we'd be looking to exit the position, or looking for longs later on, right, to get that 5-wave move up. We're going to have to see. But the short entry for the swing is going to be in the next coming days for the ones that didn't enter the swing short at the 97k region. Still need a little bit of time. Zooming out is nice as well. We try and focus on the 15-minute on the streams, but zooming out, understanding where we at, where the price has the potential of, you know, a full-on, right, 2 months of a corrective structure being finished. It's nice to follow up what we could be looking at based on the higher time frame, right? And trying to understand the steps, right? Because I know people that are longing from either here or here are screaming and shouting 100k plus, and people that are shorting throughout this zone last week are screaming for 80k. We need to understand the structure eventually that is developed to be confident. If we get that next move down in a bounce correctively, I'm going to be happy to say, guys, you know, I think 87k is going to come very, very soon. It's time to, I'm positioning myself, adding to the existing short. I will be confident in that move after one more low and a corrective bounce, overlapping structure. Doesn't matter where you short, you just will have a high probability with this movement down, I think, to at least sweep up 87k, which is where we have that, you know, disturbing liquidity pocket. Yeah, lots of liquidity heading down below 87k. So we're gonna have to see. We need more information for that. Anyway, let's go. I'm gonna go through the poll right now. I'm still alive. CBN Crypto by Mattia. Go and check out this dude. He's absolutely awesome, guys. Great content. He is short from 97k. There is a poop ton of liquidity under around 80k. There is also. Alf Baby, you can thank me later. Makes sense. I said it first. Target 91, 92k. Stop loss 95k to 95 200. Okay, we got some trading entries and exiters and stop losses here from Naive Agua. Much love to you. Salute my fellow crypto trader, CBM. Here he is. Go and check him out, guys. Give him a follow. He's absolutely awesome. Great content every day. Carl from the Moon is Max Short. Any thoughts? Yeah, well, I have to say, that it does make sense. It does actually make sense when we consider also Elliott wave theory here, there and the resistance that we're hitting right on the higher time frame here, which is the point of control of the entire range, right? We are counting this price action as well because we are beneath this price action. So all of this accumulates throughout November of 2024 till today. Which level has been the most traded with the highest amount of volume? It's been 97k. Been 97k. That's where you have this rejection eventually that happened last week. And when we consider the amount of confluence that there is here and combining it with Elliott wave theory, which you have a very valid end of a corrective 3-wave structure in a double zigzag, then it makes sense to be max short if you did short, last week. I wouldn't go max short here. As explained, we need a finished impulse. There is going to be some cheeky bounce happening, and the cheeky bounce is the one where we need to go max short, because before the big move down, you always get the initial stages of the move down, which would have to be that impulse, bounce, then move down. Before getting a aggressive move, you always have the smaller move before. Always. Always, always. Big bounce, correction. Then the big move happens. You don't only just nuke down from a high. You get the first sign of weakness, right? I mean, we can go through. I mean, in this case, it's multiple 1-2s. But before the big move, you get a change of structure. So are we forming this change of structure? I mean, this is how the market moves. You don't suddenly create a low and you V-shape in a straight line. You're going to form a first impulse and then the correction. Then if it is multiple 1-2s, then that's the case here. But before a big move, I mean, we can zoom out and find many different scenarios. It's just how the market moves. A big move doesn't happen directly from a low. You get the first, from the low, you get the first pump and correction. Then the big move happens. Right? This big move did not happen at the low. It happened after getting your first wave 1 and 2. Then it came. I mean, we can take a look at another major pivot high here. I would consider this. I mean, this was very, very staircasey down. Not a major bounce. But, you know, bigger move didn't happen from the high. It happened later. Same as true as the all-time high that we had in April of 2021. You didn't move straight down from here. You got the first down, then the bounce. Then you got the wave 3, right? Same is true if you do go down to the bear market low of 2018. That was the low. You didn't straight move up to all-time high, even though it almost wanted to. You got the correction, higher low, and then the big move happened later, right? So, I mean, the main reason why we're going through this is because if you are going to come down to $80,000, you need to have the first move down and the bounce first. Is this it? It has the potential. It has the potential. But we ain't going to go down to 80K in the next coming days. I can tell you that. Never say never, though, they say, right? I'm not going to say never, but there's a very, very low probability that in the next coming days, 3-4 days, let's give it a bit of room, that this is going to roll over like this. This movement down will be developed like this. So, you know, do we have our first initial move down, leg 1? No. For the moment, it's a 3-wavy move. We get above 94,000, 94.2 without claiming this low. It's going to be looking very 3-wavy. And longs could be very, very interesting in the next coming days if we do get a corrective rejection here at some point. I mean, if you claim this lower high at 95.5k, then look no further. This would be a confirmed 3-wave structure if we take out this lower high. Multiple 1-2s, 1-2, 1-2. I mean, only if you do form a sideways, very corrective move here. That would be valid. Contracting diagonal, wave 1, wave 2, then another wave 1 and another wave 2. If the bounce is going to be extremely choppy, taking out 94.2k, I mean, that's another thing. If we move up here and it doesn't look very impulsive, or you form this, and there's lots of overlap here, then, and you don't take out this high, we could consider 1-2, 1-2. Then this would be looking very, very bearish. We'd have to jump into shorts later on through the week if we do not take out this lower high, which would be the ultimate confirmation that this is a 3-wave structure, because a multiple 1-2 could still happen. 1-2, 1-2, and then wave 3 comes later. So let's see how this bounce develops. if it is going to take out 94.2k, if it is going to be chopping overlappy, we're going to have to move with the 1212, right, and get the big move throughout the week. It's looking interesting, guys. You know, if we are going to be bearish, it's the initial stages still. If it is going to roll over and dump over $10,000, it's still soon. It still has time. As mentioned, I wouldn't expect, there's low probability for the price to move down to 80k in the next couple of days, or even below 87k, I would say. Still very fresh. We've got a decent dump down throughout the last 24 hours. I wouldn't expect major follow through here. So bounces are, this bounce is very shallow, it's very fresh. So yeah, that's another take right there. The multiple 1-2 is very much a possibility if you get this bounce being very overlappy. Still possible, but it's too soon, too fresh. Good morning, Andy. Thanks for your streaming on holiday. We love you. Brandy, much love to you, my man. I would have to be liquidated event 2.0. Bro, let's do a live together, Sue, on both channels. We need to do that for sure. We need to do that live stream back to back, my man. It isn't showing a 5-wave crash. 92k was actually decent level for longs towards 100k. Yeah, I mean 92k. Man, that is a big statement right there. 92k was a good long to head up to 100k. There was a naked point of control there at 92k, and unless you catch the reaction at 92k, I don't like this bounce to long here after such an aggressive move down. You know, very, very choppy bounce. Need a bit of more structure, more information when we take into consideration the higher time frame. But yeah, CBM anyway, we need to do a live stream soon. Good food takes time to cook. You're damn right. Andy, what is your streaming background track? It's from Epic, what is it? Epidemic Sound. EpidemicSound.com. It's just average. They have house, reggae, hip hop, they have all sorts. But it's royalty free, of course. Anyway, legends, much love to everybody. Thanks for joining today's stream and smashing up the like button. How many likes do we have on the stream? We get people getting tired of the nonsense. Too much waffling about here. 200 likes. It's a bit. It is holiday in the US. We got the volatile move just already starting Monday. Tomorrow, I would be expecting the price to be a little bit more punchy. We'll be getting some good information. The only possibility here, really, is speculating on a wave 4 to get the push down to claim the lows. But yeah, not much volatility. Of course, we didn't have New York open today. We'll be updating tomorrow morning, of course, in the community. Shout out to Devil here with the new scenarios and also newer scenarios for tomorrow, guys. If you are interested in joining the trading community, you have the first link down below. DM me the word join so you can get the information to get into the trading community, okay? Updates every single day, altcoins, news, all sorts there, guys. If you are looking for an active trading community, you have the first link down below, guys. DM me join on Telegram. Good food takes time to cook. 95k. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say that this is a multiple 1-2. Could it be? Absolutely. But yeah, multiple 1-2 could be cooking. To the upside. I mean, if you are feeling bullish, you want to get into these pullbacks. It is crucial right now to hold this higher low. If this is going to be building multiple 1-2s and you get a pop to the upside in a wave 3, based on the timing, very symmetrical, you took out the highs. You do not want the price to take out this higher low, because if that is the case, it is going to be over 4 times longer. Your wave 2, this would be your wave 1. If it is going to be a flat, this is finishing in about 1 hour from now. It's going to be 4 times longer, decreasing the probabilities. I think if you do take out this low, there's going to be high probability in taking the low here at some point. So yeah, if you're speculating on something bullish, 50% to the 7-8 here would have to be your zone to form a higher low, because if you take this low, you're likely forming something corrective here. Multiple 1-2s, diagonal possible here. Yeah, diagonal is not possible. Would be expanding, and expanding is muy raro. You take out this higher low, you're likely going to take out this low at some point, regardless if the correction extends. But there's probabilities that you either come down quickly or you faff around for a little bit longer and then take the low. So if there is going to be something bullish being formed here, the bulls want to defend this higher low, which would be your, stop loss. If you want to get into a higher low here, you feel brave enough for the multiple 1-2s. Not one of those trades that I'm interested here at the moment. Bulls want to defend this higher low. Bears want to defend 94.2k. So if you're looking to long this momentum, invalidation needs to be beneath this higher low if you get into the pullback. If you're speculating on this bounce to roll over to take the low, your invalidation is here. Bulls invalidation, bears invalidation. So that's what we're looking at the moment, which there's going to be so much cleaner setups in, on tomorrow's stream, or, if it's not tomorrow, it's going to be on Wednesday. It's going to be so much clean because we have a 3-wave at the moment. You claim the lows again. We're already starting to think this is an impulse. We'll be looking for either longs on a 4-5 or 4-5. We've got a weekly level down here. Pay attention to that weekly level that we do have at 90,800. Muy bueno. Muy bueno weekly level for an initial bounce. If the price would manage to cross through here and not, bounce on a double bottom, and it still continues down another $1,000. Oh my, if we do get down to the weekly, I think it's an awesome long, because breaking down from here is low probability. Like pushing down very, very strongly from here is low probability. So yeah, naturally, if you don't double bottom here for the bounce, I mean, it depends if you form the 4-5s in the next coming days. But the weekly level is going to be a very, very good level if you cross this low. because I would be eyeing that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then a big bounce to happen to at least get above 93. That is if you break the recent lows and come down to the weekly. Weekly would be a very, very decent long, just for the bounce, just for a local bounce, not to get to 100k. Much love to everybody. Thanks for joining the stream. If long, then only from double bottom. Yeah, I mean, yes, that's how I'm looking at it. I'm not too interested here in speculating if this is multiple 1-2s or if we do have a wave 4. Not interested, because we have this move, right? It could be a 4, then 5. It could, could it be a 3-wave move down? Well, we have to rally here. Then the longs could be interesting on this correction. Not interested in doing anything with this bounce. So, like you mentioned, meme cat only on a double bottom. So wick the lows and then look for the entry. Or if you break down the lows, the weekly level is going to be the level to long. Just understanding that getting follow through on the move down here is low probability. Getting massive follow through is low probability. So you're either eyeing the double bottom on the fake out, stop loss at the low entry, or looking for reaction at the weekly, long stop loss for that bigger bounce to claim the lower highs. With a big move down like this and this choppy bounce, it makes more sense to claim the lows, if I'm honest with you here, instead of multiple 1-2s. Somebody was saying that 92k was a great long and we're heading up to 100k right, in the comment section, but it's all different opinions. There's a lot of liquidity at 89k, yeah, which is the highest probability, bearish or bullish, for next movement. Yeah, we've been going through this on the stream. Thanks for smashing up the like button, guys. If you do enjoy the content, smash it up. But yeah, a lot of liquidity below 89k. So we do understand that there's lots of liquidity down there. As mentioned, we claim the local lows. Again, the bounce is going to be extremely important to understand in the next coming days, because that could be eventually the short trigger to claim not only 89 but 87k at a bare minimum. That would be the main target, these higher lows. We could still have the zigzag up, zigzag down, and the flat. This would be surprising. We're just continuing the momentum here, this channel momentum. Or come down to 80k, right? We will have to see how we react down here. If we move up impulsively in the first leg, we could be looking for longs after sweeping up 87k. It could be interesting for long positions depending on the bounce. We don't need to catch the low or the high or the low. We can join on these shorts later, as explained. There could be a decent short swing in the next couple of days. Information will be given, guys, so stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button with the notification bell, because we will get some solid information in the next 1 to 2 days with the high probabilities movements. Okay, to either take out 95k plus again if we form some kind of an impulse, or we claim 95.5k without claiming the lows. That's going to be extremely interesting. This will end up being a 3-wave structure, so we will know that if there is high probability in taking out 95k, or is there going to be high probability in taking out 87k. With this 3-wave down, lagging with a 4-5 and not claiming the invalidation of the wave 4, we don't have the high probability next higher time frame move. And this will be known in I would say the next 24 hours max. We will know what the probabilities will be. Will it be to come down to 87k, or will it be to move up to 98k plus? we don't have enough information at the moment. We get above 94.2k in an impulsive move with a correction, it's going to be looking good to take out 98k plus. We claim the lows again to have a 5-wave structure, and we get that corrective bounce throughout the next 1 to 2 days. There's going to be high probability that we come down to 87k. So we need one more leg here, which will be developed in 24 hours, before 24 hours. And on tomorrow's stream, we would be knowing the high probability movements, either this high or 87k, which is on the poll that we have on the stream. What comes first for Bitcoin, 98k plus or minus 87k? With tomorrow's stream, I have to say, with where we are at the moment, I will be confident to tell you what is the highest probability pivot to be hit. And that's what we do, right? We obviously, with information that we get on the chart, right, we talk about the probabilities. If we can find some setups reasonably with good risk management, we will talk about them, of course. But as somebody asked, what would be the highest probability move? We do not know yet, based on the poll. I would lean more to 87k because there is a possibility of a finish structure and a WXY and a 3-wave move up. That could definitely be the high. We got lots of liquidity here. We're only starting the initial stages to the downside. So if you were to ask me, I would say I'm favoring more 87k at the moment than hitting 98k. But I would be more confident tomorrow, depending on what happens on the next leg here, because of the 3-wave move, right? We either get one more low, that's looking good for the impulse, then I would be favoring that a lower high is most likely to then roll over. If we move up to get above 94.2k and we correct down, throughout tomorrow's stream, I would favor taking out 98k. So we will see. We will see. New York Open is going to be interesting tomorrow. It will be like a Monday. It will indeed. Much love, Paz Maria Vallejos. Ash, time is with bulls, judging from long corrective waves. Time is with bulls always on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to hit new all-time highs in the future, right? Bitcoin will hit new all-time highs in the future. Obviously, we're just looking for intraday and possible short-term swing trades of a week or maybe 2 weeks that could last. But yeah, if you want to be sure about something, I'm sure that Bitcoin will go back to all-time high. Trade safe, don't get bitten. Time is with the bulls, says Ash, and it's absolutely true. Uncertainty, it is. Uncertainty, it is. Yeah, what can we say? Very important information. Of course, last week, you want to speculate on swing shorts when you are forming the local bearish market structure. Multiple 1-2s or contracting diagonal, you get your bounce and a lower high. You're already looking for that 3-waver or a wave 3, right? We only had one main bullish scenario, which can you fit a WXY here? It's already separating right from this leg. So, favoring either multiple 1-2s and then the 3rd wave, or you're favoring the contracting diagonal, because throughout Friday, I was already, regardless of this little day trade long at this SFP, which is a trade that we got on last Friday, just being aware, guys, be cautious on the wave 3 down here. We were so much aware of this happening since Friday, based on multiple 1-2s. or getting the contracting diagonal in that bounce, and then, you know, getting the wave 3 down. It was just a matter of time that was going to happen, right? Regardless, Friday or Monday. Happened on Monday. So legends, thank you very much for joining. Okay, it is a holiday in US. Tomorrow we are going to be here for New York Open. Let's see the information that we got tomorrow. As mentioned, it is super important for the Bulls to get above 94.2k to have some initial signs of bullishness, and that this could be a 3-wave structure. We need to be aware of this being 1-2-1-2 as well, with a contracting diagonal here. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 1, wave 2. If this is a very crappy bounce and overlappy, we're looking for maybe a wave 3 to happen later on throughout this week. There will be time, I think. We're going to do a long live stream, 3-4 hours. Let's see if we either get into a day trade swing short or a swing long. We will know with the information. We'll give a bit of room for stop depending on, you know, the direction bias tomorrow. But yeah, we'll see. Legends, thank you very much for joining. Remember, you got those insane bonuses to claim either from Bluffin, okay? VIP 1 for the first 30 days as you do sign up with, you know, more deposit bonuses. BTCC with the insane 30% unlimited bonus on your deposit. You deposit 100k, you're getting 30k on top of that, guys. Read the terms and conditions that you have down below as you click on that link, okay, which is in the description. If you want to join the community, it's the first link down below, guys. Trading community. Send me the word join on Telegram to join the trading community. Got the affiliate links down below, guys. BTCC being right over here with the 30% unlimited bonus. My goodness, throwing the money away. Free cash for everybody, right? Anyway, legends, thank you very much. I'm getting all my beauty sleep back. Much love, Pathmadia. Much love to everybody. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Whoever's in shorts from higher, absolutely awesome. You know, highest probability on the higher time frame was to roll over at some point, claiming the highs again or not. We're looking for this move very much. Legends, thank you. Have a great evening, and I will see you tomorrow.